Hey everyone, Kaylee, your friendly neighborhood hairstylist here, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to blow dry your hair. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we know there is a big difference between pointing a blow dryer at your head and what happens when you go to the salon and get your hair blow dried. It is a world of difference. However, many of us are now home during social isolation and we have a little bit more time to learn some new skills. And I thought it would be fun to show you guys some new techniques that you can mix into your blow dry routine. You can either do all of them for a full-on blowout, or you can just mix in a couple here and there for something that feels a lot more doable. For me personally, trying new things and doing a bit of self-care has been so key with dealing with my own mental health while having to be socially isolated. It's not the most fun. At the beginning, I'm an introvert, I was thriving, and now I don't know what to do with myself. So just in case anybody else is in that boat with me, I thought it would be cool to teach you some new stuff. And for today's video, I am actually going to be using the DYSON Supersonic Limited Edition gift set. This one includes a hot pink hair dryer, hey, a styling, a smoothing, and a diffusing attachment, a lovely anti-slip grip, and the round brush and comb I'll be using for my blowout today. Now, you don't have to use this specific set to do these tips, but it is what I'm going to be using today, and I wanted to thank DYSON for sponsoring today's video. I want to shout out that Sephora is actually having a sale around this time of the year that could help you obtain your own DYSON. Also, I've got a little giveaway going on, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video. But with all that said, let's get into it. Let's talk about the goal, the overall thing we're trying to achieve when we're blow drying our hair. The cool thing is you can use your blow dry to do so much. You can correct cowlicks, you can correct like random frizzy wavy bits, you can add volume, shine, smoothness, reduce frizz, add a new kind of shape to the hair with volume or with waves. Like, the list is endless. It's kind of a way to work with your hair, but also get it to like that extra 10% of perfect that you want it to be, you know? So we're gonna talk about techniques that you can use to fix all the different things I just talked about. Like, if you're watching this video and you're like, I've got a cowlick here and here and here, my hair is wavy right here, and I want volume here, at the end of this video, you'll have the techniques to know how to conquer each of those things. And the way I'm gonna go about this is to break it down. We're breaking it down. We're gonna talk about the stuff that you put on your hair, the tools that you're using, and then we'll talk about these techniques so you can figure out what to use where, and then I'm gonna put it all together and show you a blow dry on my hair, okay? We're really going through this. This is not like a quick little like stick a chip in your head and all of a sudden I know Kung Fu moment. This is, we're gonna get nitty gritty, and I hope you guys are down for it, because we're getting into it. First of all, the products. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about how to use your hairbrush and your hair dryer, blah, blah, blah. But also the products that you put in your hair are important. Example number one, a blow dry balm. That can help to add smoothness to your hair, but also add some hold and fight frizz. Now, of course, if you're working with a good dryer, good hairbrush, all of that, it's gonna help in that endeavor as well. But it doesn't hurt to double up. Number two, you can use a blow dry accelerator, something that helps your hair to dry faster already. Again, it doesn't have to be the only thing that's helping your hair dry faster, but it is nice to have and to utilize, especially if you have a ton of hair or if you have to dry your hair quickly. You can use a mousse to add volume and or hold, depending on the kind of mousse that you get. One way you can think about mousse is that it's hairspray in a different form, because it does add similar hold, it does do similar things, but with a much more touchable result. And that can really be useful for you when you're doing your blow dry. So if you're trying to create a very specific shape, like you really want roundness, you're trying to get curls in, you want volume, mousse is your friend. And every time I talk about mousse, I think of mousse. Anybody else? Mousse is your friend. Just picturing a mousse, it's my friend. You can also use a hair oil that can help with detangling or adding shine. That will typically also make the hairbrush go more smoothly through your hair, and of course, tame the frizz, add shine, create a better overall results. And now the tools. Obviously, I'm using the DYSON Supersonic today. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, but also I'll tell you a little bit about what to look for in a hair dryer. First off, love the design of this one. I know it looks so different than most other hair dryers. It has the air coming in through here and then out this way, which means that you're not gonna end up with hair getting sucked into the hair dryer while you're hair drying. Love that. I also love that I can hold this, however, while I'm drying my hair. Because when I work on clients, I'm a dryer holder. Not a handle holder, dryer holder. But what is actually cool about the DYSON Supersonic that makes it all that in a bag of chips is it's ultra fast drying, it's powerful digital motor, it's heat sensor that reads heat at least 40 times a second to make sure that the heat is always even. That helps to prevent extreme heat damage. And in addition to all that, it adds smoothness, increases shine, and decreases frizz. We love. Now this is actually my second of the DYSON Supersonic dryers because I let my younger brother have my first one. He is Korean and his hair is a little harder to style into place. So I was like, listen, if you promise to use this every day and style your hair with it, I will let you take it. And he was like, please, 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 please. I was like, okay, I love you that much. You can have it. And one of the reasons that I parted with it as easily as I did is because I was not using the attachments. So let's talk about attachments. Most hair dryers are gonna come with a concentrator where you have this little kind of directed airflow that you put onto the hair dryer, and it directs the airflow in a little sliver. That way, instead of having a big old wind tunnel, you have directed airflow. Now that's important with the Supersonic because it has incredibly powerful airflow, and I felt like it was too much for my hair. It looked more like I had just gone outside in a very windy weather, not exactly the look I was going for. And I actually asked DYSON, I was like, guys, I feel like I'm missing something here. This is normally how I blow dry my hair. What am I doing wrong? And they were like, listen, we hear you, but with this one, because the airflow is that extreme, use your concentrator when you're rough drying your hair. And I was like, okay. And I tried that, made all the difference. Just wanted to throw that out there because if I, a hairstylist who should have known better, had that problem, maybe somebody else out there did too. I do love that the attachments on this are magnetic, so they're very easy to put on and take off. And they're also very easy to turn, which is nice because in some of the stuff we're gonna talk about in a second, that can be important. Now, if you are looking for a hairdryer, I think some of the things that are most important to look for are variable speed settings, so you can have really intense air or a little bit less. Variable heat settings, so you can have it much hotter or much cooler. For me, for example, I like to rough dry my hair with a warmer setting than I like to kind of smooth dry my hair, because when I'm rough drying, my dryer's going all over and it's kind of far away. When I'm smooth drying, it's right there. So I like to have it a little bit lower heat when I'm doing that. And of course, this little guy does all that. Now for the accessories that you can use with your blow dryer. First of all, sectioning clips are key. You must section your hair while you blow dry it. Don't try to argue with me on this one. You must section your hair because you're blowing it all over the place. Like, what are you gonna do if you're creating this massive wind tunnel, but you're trying to also smooth it and create a shape? You're gonna get so frustrated and so bothered. And you know what? All you needed was a clip. So any old sectioning clip, use it, it'll make a difference. And then brushes. I could do a whole video on brushes. Generally speaking, you need something to detangle your hair before you ever get started because you don't want to be detangling your hair while you're trying to round brush it. Why would you give yourself extra things to do in that one step when your arm is already up here, your other arm is over here, and you're already getting sore? No, 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 no. Detangle first. So you can use a detangling brush for that. Today you'll be seeing me use this comb that comes in the gift set. This is great. Really love this for detangling. When you're rough drying, something like a vent brush can be so helpful because it's got all these little holes in it for the air to pass through so that you're getting the most air in your hair, because the rough dry is all about just getting out the extra water. We don't want extra water in the hair when we're trying to round brush it. Again, we want to make the round brushing process as easy as possible because otherwise you're gonna hate it. And you're gonna hate me for making you try to do it. Let's skip all that. You gotta rough dry. A vent brush can be really great. Today, I'm actually using this. It works well too. And then the round brush. There are so many round brushes out there. I think generally you want one with kind of nylon bristles like this one that comes in the kit. They're nice because they go through the hair very easily. Sometimes when you get in with like a boar bristle or something like that, it's more of an arm workout. You're really pulling, or in this case, pushing your hair. It's a lot and it's more than you need. So something like a nylon bristle with either a titanium or ceramic core is what you want. Now this one that comes with the set, I like the size of this a lot for getting into the root and really taming the root, for adding volume if you want. You can use it to really create shape, whether it's creating a little bump under at the ends or creating a little curl in the hair or whatever. It's very handy dandy. However, if you're a newbie, it might also be nice to bring a bigger brush into the spectrum just because it's a little easier to move through the hair and it can dry a little bit faster. I did just want to throw out there that sometimes when you're just starting out, a really big brush can be really helpful. Just generally a big one. And now we talk techniques. First of all, the root. Sounds like a new TikTok dance. It's not. So I like to tackle the roots starting during the rough dry. Now, I've kind of casually mentioned the rough dry a few times. Let me break it down a little bit. You've come out of the shower. You've probably towel dried your hair a little bit. Your hair is very wet right now. You are not ready to start running a round brush through each little section. It's too much. You want to go ahead and just kick off like 80% of the water just right away. Just make it really easy on yourself. Roll that hair dryer all over the place, get the water out. Now, while you're doing that, that is a really good time to start working on your roots. I think when you're doing it on yourself, it's the easiest way. So let's start with cowlicks because those little guys are the worst. So I have two lovely cowlicks that like to live right here, and I have another one that sometimes sets up residence back here. Now what you can do while you are rough drying your hair is to go ahead and direct the roots where you would like them to go. So every time I blow dry my hair, I actually start by grabbing my hair dryer, pointing it forward, and brushing my cowlicks forward to dry them into place because my cowlicks like to go straight back. I don't like that. I don't want it. So drying them forward. And I just do this little number. And the other thing you can do, not only just dragging straight forward, but you can start doing little X's in the direction that you want it to go. That way you're getting in there, you're getting every little piece of hair and you're telling the cowlick, no, not today. For this one, my hair likes to split in the back. X out the cowlick. And you wanna do that with a brush because the closer the bristles are together, the more control you have. If you were to do this with, say, a big old comb like this, it would be very similar to using your fingers. And you just don't have as much control. So you really want to be in there having something that's like, nope, you're going this way to get everything where it's supposed to be. Much in the same vein, you can use this for smoothing your hair while you're doing your rough dry. If your hair has a natural kink or wave in certain areas of your hair or all over, for me it's certain areas, I have like a fun little kink and waviness right here. I've got some back here. I don't know why. Why can't my hair all be on the same train? I don't know. But you basically end up doing the same thing. As you're just drying your hair, you're gonna take your brush and you're gonna brush your hair the way that you want it to go. And you're gonna use your head as almost like the round brush to just flatten your hair down as you're drying it. And you wanna keep brushing it, doing the little X's back and forth so that you're getting the air in there, we're knocking the water out, but we're also smoothing it. And if you have a whole lot of hair, it can be nice to do this in sections. So you take like a horizontal section here, it's smooth. Drop a little bit more over, it's smooth. Because I really think that getting in there and doing the amount of work that you need to do to pull the hair straight when you're doing a round brush can be really hard, especially in that first like ½ inch on your head. So using the hairbrush and just your head as like an ironing board, it just really, really helps with that. The opposite is true for volume. So if I know that I want my hair to be laying right here, but I want it to have the volume, then I'm gonna brush it the opposite way that I want it to fall. So you're gonna be smoothing it, but you're gonna be smoothing it the opposite way. And the fun thing is for volume, the smoothness doesn't necessarily matter as much unless you think your hair is gonna go nuts. But if you've got the fine, flat, straight hair that I do, this guy is your friend because you can just brush your hair opposite of where it's falling and it works perfectly. And that's pretty obvious for the sides, right? Like the sides go up in the opposite direction. For the back of the hair, from like the ears back, you wanna brush it forward. So, you know, you're gonna take this, gonna brush the hair forward to get that volume in there. And basically for volume, the more root confusion you create, the better. And now it's time for the part I am most passionate about. The hair. And by the hair, I mean everything that's not the roots. Because there is a very important tip that a lot of people just have not clicked into when it comes to blow drying your hair. And it is the difference, okay? This whole video is really boiled down to this one little tip. Thank you for watching everything else. You have to direct the flow of the air in the direction of your hair's cuticle. Quick refresher, your hair has a cuticle layer, goes around the outside, and it basically looks like lots of little shingles on top of each other. When those shingles are raised, your hair gets tangly a lot. It gets frizzy, it doesn't have shine, it looks dull. Oh, it also breaks more easily, that's fun. And one way that you can create frizz on your own hair is blow drying the cuticle up. Because up means frizz. Basically, at any given point, when you're directing the flow of air at your hair, you need it to be flowing from root to end. So if your hair is directed upward and you're directing from root to end, you're still right. It just needs to always be flowing from the top to the bottom of the hair. You can kind of think about it like one of those little sequin pillows where you rub one way and it's one color, and then you rub the other way and it's like pretty sparkly sequins. When you are smoothing the cuticle down, it is all pretty sparkly sequins. And that's what we want. So when you're doing the tips from the rough dry, you wanna make sure that your hair dryer is pointed in the direction that the rest of the hair is going. So if you are going this way, your dryer is going from the roots to the ends. If you are going this way, roots to ends. If you're going this way, roots to ends. Have I made my point clear yet? It makes a huge difference in the outcome of your blow dry. And the reason I bring it up now is because we're gonna talk about using a round brush with a blow dryer. Fun stuff. So that's what direction to point your hair dryer. Let's talk about how to use this thing, because this can be so confusing for just one simple little tool. First things first, you never wanna take a section that is bigger than your brush. Take this brush, stick it on your head. This is as long and as wide as your section can be. So you cannot pick up hair from here to here and try to blow dry it. No. You lose control when you do that. You lose results when you have to do that. Some of this is gonna turn out the way that you want. And some of this is not gonna do a single darn thing. We wanna make sure that we're always taking a section the size or slightly smaller than our brush, like so. You get better results and it is significantly more manageable. So that's rule number one, take the right size section. And then to use your brush correctly in the hair, I want you to grab whatever round brush or round brush-like thing you have around, and we're just gonna practice spinning it. You're gonna take your thumb and forefinger and you're gonna spin the brush. Whenever I do this, I think about those old school lollipops from the 90s where it just would spin it for you. You're basically that machine right now. And once you've got it down like this, practice it in a different direction. Practice it in a different direction. Practice it in a different direction, because you're gonna be doing that on your hair. And once you have this down, you've got like 90% of it down, I'm gonna be honest. Then switch hands and practice it on the other hand. Try twisting it the other direction. I am much better with my right hand than with my left, but I do use both when I blow dry because sometimes it's easier. And then once you get it in the hair, the reason that we do that twist is to help create tension on the hair. Tension is basically pulling the hair. And the reason that we're getting that slight bit of pulling going on is so that we can direct the hair exactly where we want it, and we can smooth it with the brush in the direction it's supposed to be. So not only is the air from the blow dryer making your cuticle all nice and sparkly, your brush is as well, but it's also helping with getting it dry. So you wanna make sure that you're going over your area and you start up at the root and you get the root dry. Once the root is dry, you can move down a little further and then a little further and a little further. My kind of easy way of doing that is that at the root, I will do my little twisty thing. Do my little lollipop twist. You kind of pull and twist. You pull and you twist. And I do that because I want the root to be nice and tame, because that's where a lot of flyaways are. That's where little curly bits can be. That's where cowlicks can be. So we want to get that tamed. And then in the middle of the hair, I take a break. I just glide the hair and the hair dryer in the direction I want it to go and get it all nice and smooth. And once you hit the ends, you're gonna twist again, because this is smoothing action. It's also bending the hair. So if you want to bump it under, this is also how you bump it under. And you're gonna keep the hair dryer on there until you're ready to take it off. And then I recommend doing just a couple little twists without the hair dryer, because that gives the hair a chance to cool down. And then when you take it off, you've got a nice, pretty, cooled and sleeked, dry section. So that is your basic round brush technique. Twist and smooth at the root. You do what you gotta do through the middle. Twist and smooth at the end. Here's some ways that you can mess with that if you want. You can, if you want some more fullness and volume in the middle of the hair, you can do your twist and spin here, because that's gonna create a little bit more of kind of a bubbly effect. And that can be super duper cool if that's what you want. If you want to create waves, and this is gonna work much better on longer hair than my hair, but if you wanna be able to kind of create waves, you're gonna go down to the end, do your little twist and spin, and then you're gonna roll it up. Let it cool, hit it with a cool shot button if you want to, and then twist the hairbrush in whatever direction you want the curl to go. So for me, away from the face, and as the hair comes off, it gets put into a fun little ringlet. Whatever you do, don't touch it until it's cool, and then you can run your fingers through it and you'll have a nice little wave. Final thing I want to teach you guys is direction with the hair. Your normal direction is the direction that your hair lays. So when I've been demonstrating and I've been using this 45-degree angle straight down, the way that my hair normally lays, that's going with my hair's direction. That's gonna get you lots of smoothness, minimal volume. If you want a lot of volume, you want to use over direction, which basically means that you're going against your hair's natural direction. We touched on this a little bit. I'm just gonna touch on it again. The height and direction at which you hold your brush impacts the volume of your section. So if I want a ton of volume, I can go up like this with my hairdryer pointed up, or I could also go forward like this with my hairdryer pointed forward, because anytime you dry your hair in one direction and then you move it to go the opposite, you're creating volume. So just keep that in mind. If you want to create volume, the easiest, least arm intensive way is to brush the hair forward. But also another really great way is to brush the hair straight up, or even completely the opposite direction at like an obtuse angle and go that way. It can be a little harder, but if you're up for it, that will get you the volume. And finally, before I show you this all coming together on my hair, 2 more tips. First of all, whenever you're blow drying your hair, unless you have it on the cool setting the whole time, it's gonna be at least a little bit warm. If you want to really set the shape that you're trying to make, like if you're trying to create a wave or a bump under or really, really smooth hair, you go through, heat it up first, and then hit the cool shot button on your hair dryer right here, and you cool it down. And that helps to set everything in place, and it also helps your cuticle to just where it belongs. You get extra shine, and you set your style in place. And of course, if your hair is a little bit harder to get into the shape that you want, you can put it back up into a curl and let it cool. So if I was trying to get a nice curve here, I could wind the hair back up into a little donut, pin it against my head, and let it cool while I'm doing the rest of the blow dry. And that way, when you take it down, you've got a nice, springy, bouncy curl instead of something that might have fallen a little bit as you've been drying. Okay, so then now that I have given you guys all of that information, let me show you how it comes together on my hair. And we're gonna cut to Wet Hair Kayley in 3, 2, 1. All right, but that is my blow dry routine. Now, this is full out for me, and I really like it. I love how swishy it is. I love how voluminous it is. I like that my hair is extra shiny and soft. I really love using the Dyson. That thing is one powerful tool, and it does all the things it says it does. I mean, but I've been really enjoying it. Let me know in the comments below if you're picking up any new tips from this, or let me know if there's any that I should know, because I would like to learn more. So tell me in the comments below. Thank you to Dyson for sponsoring today's video. And now for the giveaway, I'm giving away a set just like the one that I used in today's video. The past couple months have been crazy, absolutely insane, and I feel like I want it to go to somebody that's been on the front lines, that's been working really hard, maybe whose life has been super displaced by this whole thing. It's not the world, it doesn't fix everything. You know, it's just like a nice thing to be able to do for somebody that has been working so hard for all of us. So in that effort, I would like for you guys to nominate someone that you know that would be deserving of a sweet little gift like this. So if you want to, you can go to this Instagram picture and tell me about them in the comments section. That is how you can enter. Full rules down below in the description box. Again, it's not everything, but I want to at least do a little something to help. I'm going to be going through and DMing the winner, so be sure to check that out. Obviously, make sure that if you get a DM from something that looks like me, it's actually me, we know how giveaways work. And you know, if you want, even though it's not the way to enter the giveaway, you can tell me in the comments down below about people that have really been killing it over the past couple of months. I think it's really important to keep celebrating each other and how hard we're all working in our own ways to get through this and finding ways to help people and to give back. I know in my own life, I'm finding as many ways to give back as I can. And I think we all just need to keep thinking about how we're in this together and we're working so hard. So I hope this is one little way that I can be part of that. And yes, happy entering. I'm really looking forward to hearing people's stories. And just one more big thank you to Dyson. I super love working with any brands that I really believe in, but also I really appreciate having a sponsor at a time like this because I obviously want to keep the lights on here. I want to keep paying my employees, and being able to work with really great brands that I believe in helps me to be able to do that. And I very much appreciate it. That got real deep, but I hope that you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button to help support my channel. If you're new here, you can hit that subscribe button to join the Burritoholic family here on Kayley Melissa, and all y'all can hit that bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. But that's it for today. Whether you're old or new or a casual lurker, thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah! Bye! We'll see if I even have a winged eyeliner at the end of this video. I guess I should do a video on how to clean your hairbrushes now that we're all stuck at home. And you guys have already cleaned all the normal stuff there is to clean. And or you've invented 3 new cocktails. There's 2 kinds of people in this world.